swelling, headache or a rash, asthma, colitis, fatigue or gas. What will today's symptom be? My loopy life with lupus. Hey guys, so I'm coming on to do this video because I had someone request it. And usually I don't do video requests, or sometimes if I think it's a good request, I might like jot it down in my notebook and, you know, come to it at a later date. But this one I thought I would do right away because I thought it was something that would be valuable to some people out there. So I'm filming this in my bedroom because I just started up our dishwasher and it's just too noisy out there for me to film. So because our dishwasher is quite loud sometimes. So I'm filming this in my bedroom. So basically someone asked me if I could make a video talking about Canada's healthcare system. So let me just get comfy. So basically, I mean, I have never known any other healthcare system. It has been this way since I was born. So I've never known anything other than this. So in my honest opinion, I have no real issues with Canada's healthcare system. I feel like other countries sometimes give it a bad rap when really it's not that bad. Because I will say this, if we did not have this healthcare system, Alex and I would be in so much debt, because ever since I started having all of my medical problems right after we were married, and it took a whole year to be diagnosed, I was going to doctor after doctor, getting tests after tests done. And then once I was diagnosed, it was like I've seen so many different specialists. I've had so many different tests done. And I mean, like, I, you know, at one point was having, I would say 1 to 3 doctor's appointments every month. So the cost would have been astronomical. So I am absolutely 100% grateful for the healthcare that we have in Canada, because I cannot even imagine having to pay for all of it ourselves. So our healthcare here in Ontario is called OHIP. I'm not 100% sure that OHIP is Canada-wide. That I don't really know. I should probably look into that, but because I think the O in OHIP stands for Ontario, I believe. Yes, it is. So Ontario is the province in Canada that I live in. So everywhere, I guess, like each province probably has like their own thing. Like I don't know if they have what's called OHIP, but I'm sure it's pretty much the same coverage, I guess. But so here in Ontario, we have, everyone gets an OHIP card, and I'll show you that real quick, but obviously I'm going to have to block out personal information on it. Okay, so it's a green health card. We have our photo on it. It says health, and as you can see here, it says Ontario. I don't know if it's going to focus. Yeah, Ontario. So that is the card that we present every time we have to go to the doctor or the hospital or to get tests done, anything like that. We show that card and that's it. Everything is covered. We don't have to pay anything. So any tests that I've had, any specialists I've seen, regular doctor's appointments, even hospital stays, have all been covered by the government. We have not paid anything. Now, with that said, there are some things that are not covered by OHIP. Things like dentist. Dentist is not covered. Some sort of specialists like physiotherapists, speech therapists, you know, like different specialized therapists like that. Even like psychologists and things like that are not covered by the government. And also when it comes to hospital stays, I believe OHIP only covers like a ward room or maybe a semi-private room. I'm not really sure. But with that said, usually if you get health benefits from your employer, those benefits usually will cover what OHIP does not. So like with Alex's coverage that he gets through work, and then I also can receive that through his employer, because obviously being a nanny myself, being a nanny, families do not provide medical benefits, obviously. So I get my medical benefits through Alex's employer. And they cover things like eyeglasses. Of course, not the full cost of eyeglasses. We get, I think, $200 covered, which is usually good. Like, we usually only have to pay like maybe $100 to $200 out of pocket for eyeglasses. And dentist is covered up to 80% of that. So we don't have to pay very much out of pocket for that. Of course, his employer benefits help to cover the cost of prescriptions. Not the full cost, but a decent amount. And actually, the way that it works is they will cover 80% of prescriptions. And once we've paid $500 out of pocket on prescriptions, then it's 100% covered. So you can imagine, like, just the Entacort that I'm taking and the Myfortic are the most expensive drugs that I'm taking. I can't remember how much they are, like, without coverage, but they're a lot, and we have to pay a lot out of pocket for those, even with the 80% coverage. So I think like my Entacort the last time was $90 or $100 out of pocket. My Fortic is about $70 out of pocket. So and then of course all of my other prescriptions on top of it, we reached that $500 pretty fast. So that's really good that once we reach that $500 out of pocket, it's 100% covered, and we only have to pay the dispensing fee of like $6 per prescription. So that's fantastic. If you don't have benefits through your employer, there is something in Ontario called Trillium Drug Program, and we used that before Alex started to receive benefits from his work, because when he first started working for the company, he was on a probationary period where we didn't have any benefits. So we used the Ontario Trillium Drug Program that the government provides, and that helped. It was free to sign up with, and it just basically gave us a certain percentage of coverage on prescriptions. So that really helped a lot. It wasn't like 80% coverage, but it was helpful. At least we didn't have to pay the full amount of prescription for like the cost of prescriptions. And then usually a lot of the employer benefits will cover either a semi-private room or a private room when you are in the hospital. So even if the government doesn't cover a semi-private or private room, usually you can get that through your employers. So it's totally fine. So yeah, I honestly, I really don't have much negative to say. I mean, maybe some other Canadians might feel differently about certain things, but in all honesty, like, I mean, yes, I wish that the government would cover things like dental, because I mean, in my opinion, that is necessary for your health. They also don't cover eye exams unless in my situation, they do cover my eye exams, because I am on a drug called Plaquenil, which can cause damage to your eyes. And so because of that, I have to get eye exams. I have to get them, like an in-depth one, once a year. And it's also recommended that I get another one, like a less in-depth one, every 6 months. So the government thankfully covers that because it's medically necessary. Although I don't really understand why, if you are the type that wears glasses, why that's not deemed medically necessary. But it is what it is. But honestly, like, so much is covered that even if you have to pay for your eye exam out of pocket, to me that's not a big deal, because we're saving so much money in the long run from all the other things that the government covers. Yes, we obviously pay for OHIP out of our taxes, because how else would the money be there? So it's, you know, you're paying through your taxes, but honestly, we've never known it any other way. And those taxes are automatically taken out of our paychecks, and we're just used to it. So it's not like we really notice it. Like, we don't, you know, it's just, it is what it is. It's taxes. It comes out of our pay, and it's all we've ever known. So it's not like, I don't really know, we just don't notice it. Like, we don't feel it. And obviously, you know, like, it's not like all of our taxes are going to OHIP. It obviously goes to other things to do with the city as well. But yeah, so I mean, our taxes are, I don't even know, like, I don't even know how high our taxes are in comparison to other places. But again, like I said, it's all we've ever known, so we're just used to it being that way, so we don't really notice it. And it's worth it, in my opinion. It's totally worth it. The argument, I guess, that some people in other countries have is, well, why should I be contributing to someone else's medical expenses? But I don't look at it that way, because the fact of the matter is that you just never know what's going to happen in life. I never expected to become sick. I never expected to develop lupus. And yeah, I could have gone on and had a healthy life and not really needed to use the medical system very much, other than like my yearly physical, or, you know, little doctor visits for a cough or a cold or whatever. But you just never know. You never know what's going to happen in your life. And God forbid you actually do need a lot of medical care. Then you're going to be thankful that you have OHIP, and you're not stuck with like tons of medical bills to pay that would leave you in debt. Because as the person that requested this video said that, you know, it seems like I at one point practically lived at the hospital, and that to them, like, it sounded like it would be very expensive. And yes, if I lived in the US, sure, it would probably be very expensive, and I can't even fathom having to pay all of that. And on top of it, I missed a lot of work because I had to miss work for appointments. I also had to miss work because I was ill and didn't get paid. So, I mean, it's just, I am just truly thankful for the Canadian healthcare system, honestly. Could it be better? Sure. There's always room for improvements. Like I said, there's things it doesn't cover that I wish it did. But overall, I wouldn't have it any other way. And I guess the other question was about wait times here in Canada when it comes to wait times for the doctors. Honestly, I have had pretty good luck in not having to wait a long time. Usually if I'm referred to a specialist, like for example, at the beginning of my diagnosis, I saw a general internist who then referred me to the rheumatologist that diagnosed me. Well, when they put through the referral, excuse me, to the rheumatologist, they made sure to put urgent on it. And I saw a rheumatologist, I believe it was 1 or 2 weeks after that. So in my opinion, that is quick. Yeah, there have been other times where for maybe certain tests or things like that, I may have had to wait a couple of months. A good example would be the sleep study. So the sleep study, it was quite a few months before I had it done, but the reason was because they screwed up the requisition. So that was a mess up. They thought they had put through the requisition for the sleep study, but they didn't. And so here I was waiting and waiting for them to call me with my appointment. Months were going by and I was like, okay. So that's when I questioned them. I was like, I haven't received the appointment yet. And when they looked into it, that's when they realized that the requisition was not sent through. So that was an error on their part. But as soon as they got the requisition in, within a few weeks, I believe, saw the sleep study specialist. And then that day they booked my appointment and I was going to have to initially wait 3 months to get the sleep study done. But they put me on a cancellation list. And before you knew it, within about a week, I actually got a call with a cancellation. But unfortunately, I couldn't take that appointment because I already had something else happening that day. So I went back on the cancellation list and they called me again. I believe it was about maybe a week or 2 later. And that was at the point where I was sick with, I don't know if it was the strep throat or if it was the stomach bug time, but I couldn't take it obviously because I was sick. So I went back on the cancellation list, and then next thing you know, I had another call for another cancellation, and it was for the day before New Year's Eve, and I took it. So I got in, I could have got in like 2 weeks time, but because I couldn't take those appointments, it was about a month. But yeah, I really haven't found that the waits have been extremely awful. Yeah, if you go to the ER, you tend to wait a long time, but my understanding is that's pretty much normal in most ERs because they prioritize the patients by the severity of their symptoms or what's happening. And obviously if someone comes in an ambulance with a gunshot wound, they're going to get priority. Or if someone's coming in with a heart attack, they're going to get priority. And I think that's pretty much the standard with any ER. So I, again, like, yeah, you go to the ER, you wait quite a few hours, but they're proactive during that time. Like when I went in and I had, I ended up, it was, what's that called? Pericarditis that I had. They took me in fairly quick because I was having chest pain. And so they took me in. I saw, I don't know if it was the doctor right away. I don't think so. It was probably like a nurse or something like that. And they, you know, took inventory of everything, and they tried giving me Tylenol for the pain first. Or no, actually, I think they tried giving me an antacid first because I thought maybe it was heartburn. It wasn't that. So then they tried Tylenol and that didn't work. So then they brought me in again and finally saw a doctor. Then they decided that they needed to do an echocardiogram right then and there. And, but they sent me for a chest x-ray first, which again, like the x-ray area, they have, in a hospital, they have x-rays for regular patients, like outpatients, and then they usually have another x-ray area right near the emergency room. And so they just gave me the paper and showed me where to go, and I went and I waited with maybe like 4 other patients, and within, I would say, about a half hour, I got my x-ray done. And went back, and then they brought me back into the room, and then maybe like, I probably had to wait about 2 or 3 hours for the echocardiogram to be done. They did that, and then they gave me major painkillers for the chest pain, and that helped me sleep a bit. And then within, I would say maybe, I don't know, maybe like 2 hours or so, the doctor came back with the results, said it was pericarditis, gave me the prescription and all that stuff, and discharged me. So like, I mean, I was there for the whole night, but the whole time, you know, I was being seen and I was being taken care of. So yeah, I don't know. I've never really found the wait times to be extremely bad. The last time I had the cortisone shots in my jaw, I waited a very long time for that. It was quite a few months, and I was in a lot of pain, and I was getting very frustrated with that. But again, it turned out that it had nothing to do with OHIP. It was, again, a situation where there was an error in the requisition. It had not been sent through. I don't know how that happened twice to me already, but they thought that it had gone through and it didn't. And so after a few months of not hearing anything, I had called them. I think I waited about 3 months and I had not heard anything. So I called them. That's when they found out there was an issue, and they sent through a requisition again. And then I feel like something happened with it again, that there was some other issue. But anyways, once they figured out the issue and the requisition was sent through properly, I had an appointment for the procedure within, I would say, 1 or 2 months. And that's how it was this time. Like, I went to see the jaw specialist I saw in December, I think. I think it was in December. Yeah. Or maybe even January. It was either end of December or somewhere around the beginning of January that I saw the jaw specialist. And he decided that we would repeat the injections on my jaw. and my appointment's for February 26th. So again, I only had to wait about a month, maybe a month and a half for the procedure. Or unless, like, if I went to see him at the end of December, then that's about 2 months. But yeah, in my opinion, like, that's not that bad. Because it's not like a life or death situation. It's just, it's discomfort in the jaw, but right now it's nowhere near as bad as it was the last time. So I'm managing it, and in a few weeks I'll be having a procedure and it'll be fine. So I think, you know, again, it's usually prioritized. Like if it's something that's urgent, they will write urgent and you will, you know, be seen quicker. And like same as like if I've ever needed anything like a CT scan or an MRI, I usually have been able to get that done within a month, maybe even like a week or two, and I'll have an appointment for that. So I don't know. I've never found any of the wait times to be that bad, really. At least in my experience. And yeah, I don't know. To me, I feel like I've had really a positive experience with Canada's healthcare, and I am like super grateful for it. And yes, like I said, it could use some improvements in some areas in terms of like covering certain things that it doesn't cover. But overall, it's better than nothing. That's what I can say. It's better than nothing, because I can't imagine having to pay all these medical bills out of pocket. I just can't. I can't fathom it. How, like, I don't even know. We would be in such incredible debt. I don't even know how we would afford any of it, really. Because I can't work full time because of my health. So I only work part-time, and I don't get paid that much being a nanny. I did get a raise recently, which is good, but it's still like, it's not a lot when you're only working part-time. And, you know, Alex makes a decent amount at his job, but he doesn't have like some super like amazing job that he makes like a ton of money that, you know, we're rich or anything like that. So, I mean, and even if he did, like, I can't fathom like the thousands of dollars that we would probably have to be paying in medical expenses. Like, there's just no way. I can't wrap my brain around that. So I love Canada. I love our healthcare system. I really don't have any qualms with it, and I just can't imagine having it any other way, really. And like I said, it's all I've known since birth. It's always been this way, and yeah, I love it. I love it. I know, like, I have some friends in the US that like, they just can't afford proper health care for themselves. I have a friend who has a lot of medical problems, and she's in pain a lot, and I feel so bad for her because she just cannot afford the health care. And I always tell her, I'm like, move to Canada, girl, move to Canada, because you will get the help here. Yeah, I don't know. I love it. I really don't have any major qualms, nothing really negative to say about it. Yeah, so I don't know. I hope this video was useful, helpful, informative. But yeah, so that's it for this video. I don't really think I have anything else to cover when it comes to OHIP. Not that I can't think of anything else. But anyways, if you're Canadian and you think I missed anything, leave it in the comments below. Or maybe even leave your experiences in the comments below with Canada's healthcare system. But I personally am very positive about it. I love it, and I think every country should have this. I mean, it's just, like I say, you never know what's going to happen to you in life. And when, you know, if you unfortunately end up very ill, you know, the government should be there to help you. It's just, it's a basic human right to have health care that's affordable. So anyways, guys, I'm going to end this video here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.